What about giving the students an idea about the chapter I'm going to talk about or I'm going to teach? First, the main points, so as to put the students in the picture. Then the details after that, through reading the certain passages I determined previously, I'll be giving them the questions. To have the main idea will help them to read, to understand. If they have no idea about the chapter, they won't, in my opinion, understand the whole of it.
The first stage, the second stage, and the third stage. We are going to talk about the first stage. Before that, remember well that for the students, the reader is always a new story to read. But for the teacher, it is an old one. Stages of teaching readers. Number one, the first stage is pre-reading stage. What is it? Now we are going to discuss pre-reading stage, before reading stage. Pre-reading stage or before reading stage. You have 2 minutes to discuss it. What is meant by pre-reading stage or before reading stage? I think time is over now.
Thank you. Mr. Khalid, we can use this stage to join what has been done with what is going to be done.
Thank you. Mr. Ahmed, you want to say something?
So I can say to give brief idea before the reading about the events, about the places, the main characters, so as to get the students know to give idea for them for what they are going to read.
Okay. Mr. Hassan?
Yes. In the last level, or the above period, there was a student related to the next one. We gave home assignment so as to help the students prepare the next chapter or the next part of the story we are going to give. So home assignment prepare students to do or to read what we want them to prepare. Then at the beginning of the period, we remind them of the home assignment. So they prepare themselves beforehand, and we give them warm up. So we connect events or give overall idea about the whole chapter. This warm up related, as our colleague said, what has been done to what we are going to be done. So we give clear and prominent questions so as to facilitate and attract students' attention to what we are going to do.
Now we are going to get an idea about this stage or pre-reading stage. The pre-reading stage involves a task or an activity that learners do just before reading. Before reading the passage or chapter. Rereading tasks or activities are usually open-ended. You can give them open-ended questions, allowing students to express their opinions, expectations, and predictions. 3 important things: opinions, expectations, and predictions. I'm going to give you an example. Before that, a student's response at this stage shouldn't be evaluated in terms of correct or incorrect. All answers are possible and are accepted. You can accept any answers. And teacher should be very encouraging and supportive when eliciting all possible outcomes. Examples of pre-reading tasks. Look at the following picture and guess the following. Do you remember this picture? Which reader is it? The spiders. The spiders. And these are the pre-reading questions. Who do you think the three people in the helicopter are? I mean, what do they work as? Question number 2, what is their destination? Who are the people lying in the desert? Why do you think they are lying in the desert? Ran out of water? Ran out of gas? Or killed each other? Do you think that they lost their way? And why do you think so? Yes, Mr. Khalid?
Don't forget that you are dealing with incidents in one story. Or are you going to teach this story separated from the other chapters?
No, as a whole.
This task means that we are dealing with this story separated. It's not connected to the previous thing. The students should use the previous knowledge, information which they have done in the previous chapters to answer about this question. So this question means that this story is not separated. It's not connected to the previous.
I agree with you, but you are talking about expectations, as you said, expectations.
Why don't we deal with the incidents of excellent, the story itself?
Okay, I agree with you completely. Yes?
I agree with Mr. Hamid. I can draw a picture on the board. For example, I asked the students, what do you think? Who is inside this plane? How is it flow? I can draw someone else in the desert. Do you think this man is lost his way? Or as you write, runs out of gas or so on. It isn't related at all with the incident, but I can give him something else to fire his
To explain their expectations.
Then after that, when he studies the novel or the reader, he may remember, yes, Mr. asks some questions about this man and this weapon because they are related to what we are going to study. Not of course, I draw something chemically in the chapter, but something to relate. Okay.
We come to the second stage. The second stage is while reading stage. What is it? We are going to discuss now what is while reading stage. You have 2 minutes. Students read the passage and write the title in the margin next to each paragraph. The last one is making character sketches. The teacher writes in a word with the name of main characters in the chapter and possible words they can be adjectives or nouns that describe them. Students read and match the character with the words based on their understanding of incidents. While reading, students may also underline sentences that support their opinion or their answers. The last one, using graphic organizers. While reading, students use graphic organizers, cognitive strategies such as completing a diagram or a flow chart. The last stage is post-reading stage. What is it? You have 2 minutes.
We can take, we can take them as a sort of guessing. You can ask the students to guess, for example, to arrange them according to their understanding. And then they are going to read and rearrange them. We can make a comparison between what they have said and what is read.
They find it difficult to deal with it in a passage in their students' book. How can we deal with a big chapter?
The chapter is not separated from the other chapters. They can guess.
Yes, Mr. Kamel?
As post-reading stage, first of all, we have to ask students how to summarize some ideas related to their reading. Number 2, I can also ask them how to criticize after reading, to give criticism for what they read. Also to talk about describing characters, main points or main events. Also to talk about moral lessons concerning the story or the reader itself. These are, I think, this is the post-reading stage.
The last one is post-reading stage. What is it? You have 2 minutes to discuss that point. What about the last stage, which is post-reading stage or after reading stage?
We can support what has been done in the previous 2 stages. Asking them question to summarize the chapter.
So it is a connection between the first stage and the second
Yes,
stage. Okay. Yes.
Testing their understanding at that stage.
Okay. The post-reading stage involves tasks or activities that students do after finishing the allocated reading part, so as to evaluate their achievement of teaching aims and objectives. Examples of post-reading tasks. Number 1, we have 3 techniques here. Number 1 is book report or book review. Number 2, questions. Number 3 is cognitive strategies. What about the first one, or book report? It not only reveals students' comprehension of the story incidents, but also provides room for learners to express their viewpoints. The second one is cognitive strategies. After reading the whole story, students draw or complete a diagram or a flow chart. They add to the chart problems faced by the characters at each stage. The teacher asks the students to form questions. They may be WH questions or yes and no questions.
To form or not to answer? To form or to answer?
To form. To form. Then the same group is going to choose other students to answer them. This is all in class. Some students ask, and the other is going to say the answer. Either WH questions or yes and no questions. This is all. Thank you for you.